Welcome, everyone, to the 10-Minute Sports Report. I am your host, Captain Boring. I'm a little miffed for one of two reasons. One, I'm having a career crisis. So this is your 10-Minute Sports Report. It is July 17th. I took last week off, much-needed vacation, came back having a career crisis. So just drop a comment below to what should I do with my career crisis. Go follow us on Instagram at 4th and 1 Podcast and DM us what should Captain Boring do with his career crisis. Also, I am a little miffed because I was about 5 minutes into a 10-minute sports report when the soundbite stopped working. Now, you might be like, well, just finish the segment without the soundbites. Here's the deal. I can finish it, but then the video never processes, and I can never upload it. So I have to redo it either way. So I might as well stop and do it now. So we are a minute into the 10-minute sports report. Welcome, everyone. It is Monday, July 17th. The year is over halfway gone. July is over halfway gone. It is a bittersweet moment because fall is coming. College football is in 45 days, which is my niche and gig. Go check out an all-new, brand-new episode this Friday, the 4th and 1 Podcast with me and Admiral. You like that, as we will be previewing the Big Ten and the world-famous Michigan Wolverines. So let's get to it. Right now. That's my transition noise. The NFL has been devaluing running backs. I don't think maliciously, but definitely over the past couple years. They have gone to a formula that says running backs no longer are the most valuable member of the team. It used to be, much like Michigan's offense, the running backs were the most valuable part. You turn around, you're handing the ball off between 30 and 45 times a game. Now, a couple people have devalued running backs, and they're both players. One, Patrick Mahomes, and I'm talking in the recent past. Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. And you might be asking yourself, well, why? Those guys are great quarterbacks. They need great supporting cast. Yes, but when Lamar Jackson is running for over 1,000 yards a season, why would you need a running back to do that when you could pay a quarterback to do that? When Patrick Mahomes has no running game year in, year out, or no dominant running game year in, year out, but still is throwing for 5,000 yards and is winning 2 Super Bowls and making a third in 5 years, why would you pay running back? You have guys like Le'Veon Bell, who sat out an entire year until he got a big contract and then immediately sucked right after. When you have Ezekiel Elliott sign a big contract, threaten to sit out a season for the Dallas Cowboys, and then sign a big contract and then suck right after. Those devalue. So players really, for better or worse, are the cause of this. Why do I bring this up? Because the New York Giants running back Saquon Barkley and the Las Vegas Raiders running back Josh Jacobs and the Dallas Cowboys running back Tony Pollard all were franchise tagged, which means they will get paid in the top 10% of the position, but it's only for 1 year. And running backs, you need that safety net because injuries can occur so easily at the running back position because you do touch the ball a little bit more. You're running between the tackles, between 300 and 350 pound men on both sides. You can get sandwiched and landed on, and you know, your hips and your knees and your ankles, those are your best friends, and they just wear. Not only in the pros, but in college. Like Blake Corum last season, he touched the ball like 400 times. And now he's going to come into the NFL, and the NFL teams are going to ask him next year to probably touch the ball 150 times at least. That's a lot of miles already on those legs. So Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs did not sign their franchise tag for $10 million. Tony Pollard did. However, Tony Pollard over the last 3 seasons has been sharing a backfield with Ezekiel Elliott, who the Cowboys released. So Tony Pollard is going all in on himself. He said, I'm going to have a great year, and then I'm going to secure a big-time contract from some team next year. Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs are not doing that. They did not sign. They do not plan to report to training camp or for the season because they want to fight for all running backs for past running backs and, more importantly, future running backs and for themselves to secure a big-time contract and say, no, we're needed. Saquon Barkley just watched the Giants hand a $90 million contract to their defensive tackle and a big-time contract, $40 million a year to Daniel Jones, and is like, hey, I'm really the engine that makes this train go. Josh Jacobs can say the same thing. Led the league 2 years ago in rushing, was top 5 last year in rushing for bad teams that didn't really make the playoffs. Now you get rid of Derek Carr, you bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, you still have Devontae Adams on the outside, but really things run through Josh Jacobs in that offense. So Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley want to be paid, and they're prepared to sit out. However, as I mentioned, Le'Veon Bell did that, sat out an entire season when the Pittsburgh Steelers would not play him, or pay him, I should say, and then got a big contract the next year with the New York Jets and immediately sucked. So really, past running backs are hurting current running backs, and current running backs are trying not to hurt future running backs. It's a vicious cycle. I'll let you know how this plays out. Let's get back into the next topic. Northwestern fired head coach Pat Fitzgerald with cause because of hazing incidents that took place inside the program. Now, Fitzgerald has gotten himself a lawyer because before they fired him, they gave him a 2-week suspension because the third-party investigator actually found evidence that he could have found out evidence of hazing and he could have done something. Now, what that could have meant, we don't know. Does that mean that he was told in a roundabout way and should have investigated it? Or is he, because he is the CEO of the Northwestern football program, he should know everything that happens beneath him? One is a very dangerous precedent to set. However, Penn State set the precedent because Joe Paterno got all of his wins vacated, and then the NCAA about a decade later, restored all of his wins because they determined that he should not know everything. There's no possible way. So there's a very dangerous precedent to be set here. However, eight former Northwestern football players have retained noted civil rights lawyer Ben Crump, a Chicago-based law firm, to pursue legal action against the school for hazing incidents that took place within the program. So Fitzgerald probably will win his case against the school, but the school's going to lose their case against these football players. So it's going to be a huge, big thing. This might be, honestly, Northwestern football was not very good. This might be the end of the Northwestern football program. That's a hot take. Tune in Friday. We're going to talk a little bit about this Friday. All new episode of the 4th and 1 podcast. Deandre Hopkins is a filthy, dirty liar, ladies and gentlemen. Deandre Hopkins says that he wanted to get rings and he wasn't chasing the money. Well, guess what? He's chasing the money. He decided to sign a 2-year deal that could be worth up to $15 million the first deal. So my guess is it's first year heavy, and then kind of second year, it's more base salary, like veteran league minimum with incentives on it, or even a player option. But he's signing with the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, who have Ryan Tannehill, quarterback, or I don't even remember. They drafted a kid last year who played like 4 games, played decently well, but he's a second-year player. You're saying that you could have gone and take the league minimum and played with Patty Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson? Literally anyone? No. You're chasing money. You're not chasing rings. You're a dirty, dirty liar. And I can say that because I'm on the internet. Not physically in front of you. However, I would call you a dirty, dirty liar anyway, because you could have signed for a league minimum. You think you're worth in that, and you are. And you are worth more than the league minimum, but you're not chasing rings because the Titans are winning no Super Bowls anytime soon. Victor Wembanyama came and then he went. He played 2 summer league games and then he was out. Audi 3000. The San Antonio Spurs shut him down. His first game, not very good. His second game, much better. But the number 1 overall pick is now off for the summer. He will report to training camp. No holdouts there. And we're going to get right into it. So, to check in on the lowest salary teams in baseball, the Baltimore Orioles are hot. They're winners of 8 straight. They have closed the gap on the Tampa Bay Rays to exactly 1 game. I don't know where I left you off, but I'll just do kind of the last 4 or the last 3 games. They swept the Miami Marlins 5-2, 6-5, 5-4. Last night was the winner. Miami is a decent team. They are decent. They are second right now in the NL East. So they are 57-35, 18 games over 500, and they have closed the gap in the AL East of the Tampa Bay Rays to just 1 game. Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Rays had a 7-game losing streak, which allowed this gap to be closed. They then beat the Braves 10-4, and then they beat the Royals 6-1 and 4-2 before losing to the Royals 8-4 yesterday. So they are 60-36 overall, and I will let you know in just a minute how well that does in the standings. The Pittsburgh Pirates are falling off a cliff, and they're in danger of falling out of the 10-minute sports report entirely. They are now 11 games below 500. They are now 10.5 games back of the Milwaukee Brewers, and they are losers 3 straight. So at this point, because they are so far back and so far under 500, I'm going to stop covering the Pittsburgh Pirates entirely. They did it to themselves. You want to be covered, you got to win. So they will probably finish. They are not last in their division, by the way. And that is something to be said. But until they either get back into it or fall out entirely, I'm going to stop covering the Pittsburgh Pirates. They have lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Of their last 13 games, they've lost 10 straight. And I got one more team to do. The Cincinnati Reds are second in the NL Central. They are losers of 4 straight, though. The Milwaukee Brewers are winner of 4 straight, so they are now 2 games behind the Milwaukee Brewers for first place in the NL Central. They actually are losers to 4 straight to the Milwaukee Brewers. They played a back-to-back, so they were away at the Brewers, in which they lost 2 of 3 games, and they were home to the Brewers, which they got swept and lost all the games. The leaders for the divisions, the Rays lead the Orioles by 1 game in the AL East. The Twins are the leaders in the AL Central. The Rangers are the leaders in the AL West. In the National Leagues, the Braves are just mauling everyone else. They are the best team in baseball record-wise now at 61-31. The Brewers lead the Reds, of course, by 2 games. And then the Dodgers, one of the highest salary teams in baseball, are back atop the NL West. Let's just check out the wild card and get out of here. The Baltimore Orioles lead everyone for the American League wild card by 6 games. The Toronto Blue Jays are in second, and the Houston Astros are in third. 2 games behind them, respectively, are the Boston Red Sox, who are the hottest team in July at 9-2 in all of baseball, and the New York Yankees. They each trail the Houston Astros for that final wild card spot by 2 games. The San Francisco Giants, the Miami Marlins, both sit atop the National League wildcard standings and lead the Arizona Diamondbacks by half game. Behind the Arizona Diamondbacks are the Philadelphia Phillies, who are coming on a little bit. They are 7-3 in their last 10 games, and the Cincinnati Reds are only 2 games out. So lots of play here within the wild cards. Those are where the interesting races are getting set up. And that will do it for another rendition of your 10-minute sports report that is now going on 15 minutes. I do apologize for running over. I took a week off. I had to talk about my crisis. I had to fill you in on the running back position and give you a little backstory and then fill you in. We'll be back Wednesday. That is the 19th. Everyone, T's and P's for me as Joint Commission, or Department of Health, I should say, is coming to my facility and getting and doing a survey. So hopefully we will pass. T's and P's for me. I will see you all on Wednesday. Thank you, everyone, so much. God bless you. Wash your hands, you filthy animals, and peace out.